What is up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. Right now we're back in the car, get ready to go to work, and you probably won't believe this, but right now this video is being shot on a Samsung S24 Ultra. It's a phone I found on, out of all places, OfferUp. The guy sold it to me the other day, technically like 5 days ago, and in the beginning when he told me the price was like $400 and he thought he couldn't get it unlocked. I mean, there's a whole story behind it, but it's shocking that I got this phone for $400 and it's like unlike brand new condition almost. Like, this thing is crazy good. It has had no glitches at all, anything like that. I'm using it on a daily basis. This is actually my daily use now, is this phone, and I have an iPhone 15 for my secondary phone. But I will get more into that here in this video later on. But just know, if you're trying to get into the phone flipping business, you're gonna find some diamonds in the rough, as they would say, out there when you're buying these phones. But I'll explain more here in a little bit. Alright guys, so we're in the car. I got you mounted a different way. Instead of having you mounted on the windshield, I actually got a different magnetic mount for my car, which is holding the S24 right now. Crazy, right? I bought a whole setup that cost me less than 20 bucks to put in the car. Now, I usually would have the iPhone mounted on here, but for some reason it doesn't want to cooperate when it comes to the camera. Either it's too high, or like half of me is only showing, which this view right here is not too bad. I guess because the Ultra is a bigger camera, like a bigger phone, it's able to adjust more with what I needed to do. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've had an S25 before. You've had the Note 5 or the Fold 5 before. You've had Samsung. Why is this phone any different than what you've had in the past? Well, the reason why this phone is different is obviously because I found it while looking for phones, obviously to flip. And the other day or last week, I was scrolling through OfferUp, and I found a guy who posted two phones on his account. He had an S24 Ultra that had a cracked screen, and then he had this one that there was no cracks or nothing on it. And he was like, I'm selling the cracked one for $400. I'm selling the not cracked one for $500. And you know what? I was like, you know what? If he's willing to sell one for $400 and the other one for $500, let me see if he'll sell the one for $500 for $400. The one that has no damage. Let me just shoot my shot, see if he'll take $400 on it, and we'll go from there. I sent him a message like, hey, would you take $400 on the one that's not damaged? And he said, yes, I can. I was like, cool, perfect. What company is it? He was like, it's AT&T. I'm like, oh, that's great, because many of you don't know, but you can use AT&T phones on Cricket Wireless as long as the phone isn't reported stolen or it's not blacklisted, anything like that, right? So I asked him, can I get the IMEI number, because I really want the phone, but before I go pick up, I want to make sure that the IMEI number is good. So he said, yeah, no problem. And that's usually a good sign of doing business with somebody that doesn't have a stolen phone. They will be willing to give you the phone's IMEI number way before you go pick up, because some guys want you to meet them, and then they'll give you the IMEI number once you're in front of them, which is, it's not a bad business tactic. But if you're trying to buy these phones to, sell them or use them, you obviously want to know that you don't have a phone that's been stolen. Because if you buy it and then you find out it's stolen, you can't do nothing with it, you're out however much money you spent on that phone. So the guy sent me a message and was like, yes, I'll give you the IMEI number. He sent it to me. I looked it up, checked it out, and the phone was AT&T. It was not reported stolen. It was able to be activated on Cricket Wireless because I got the IMEI number while I was at work, and I put it into our BYOD compatibility tool, which tells me if it's compatible, if it's been reported stolen or lost. It tells me all that I'm able to activate it with no issues, which is a good perk of me working inside of a Cricket store, right? And obviously, before I purchased the phone, I was like, just for fun, let me see if I could unlock this phone with AT&T, just by a long shot, right? Because usually when you go to the unlocking tool for AT&T, it tells you right away if it's going to be able to be unlocked, or if it gives you a message saying you need to pay the phone off or something. So I put the IMEI number in, I click submit to go to the next page to put my info in, and it didn't say no message. It had no red lettering saying you need to pay the bill first. It said none of that. So I was like, you know what, this is all good signs. So I asked the guy, when can I meet you? Where do you want to meet? And I will be willing to drive to you if it's a reasonable drive. So he told me where he wanted to meet, which was in Little Elm, Texas, which was about 45 minutes away from my job. And I was like, man, I usually wouldn't make that drive, but it's a $400 purchase on a phone that could potentially make double what I'm spending. Like, in the high end, I will make double. On the low end, I'll probably get about 75% more than what I paid. Like, those are just all reasons of me driving that far. I could make some good money on the phone if I decided to sell it. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll meet you in Little Elm. And he says, we're going to meet at a racetrack, gas station. That's where my wife works. That way she can be watching us do the transaction on the cameras. I'll go, okay, that's even better. Like, thank you for telling me that. Because in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm about to meet a guy 45 minutes away from, well, about an hour away from my house. And I'm going to be by myself because I'm going straight after work. And he told me, we're meeting at my wife's job. It's a racetrack, just for my peace of mind. I'm like, man, okay. So I'm starting to like feel at ease more and more talking to this guy. So I go and pick up the phone on Saturday, which just passed. We're already on Friday of the new week. So almost a week, right? I've had this phone almost a week. But I go and meet up the guy at his wife's job like he told me. And sure enough, I get there. It's a racetrack. And I'm expecting like in the picture, he looked like a big dude in this picture. But he wasn't that tall. He was probably about 5'1", 5'2". Probably a little bit older than me. And his wife was there. I introduced myself like, hey, I'm the guy that you're talking to on OfferUp. He goes, hey, what's up, buddy? He shows me the phone, and I go, hey, no, like, if you want, we can go inside of the gas station if it's possible and sit down because, you know, I want to be able to look at the phone properly. He goes, yeah, that's not a problem. So we go inside the gas station, sit down, we look at the phone, and I go through the entire process on the Wi-Fi, making sure that there was no Google accounts, making sure it was the phone that he had told me. Because on the older Samsungs, the IMEI numbers are posted on the back of the phone. On a lot of the newer ones, they're not posted on the back of the phone. So I had to go through the entire setup process and get the IMEI number from there. On iPhone, you click the exclamation point icon when you first turn it on. If it's been reset, it tells you all the info, but on Samsung it's a little different. So I go through the whole thing, and sure enough, it's the exact phone he told me. I look at the overall condition, it's perfect. I connect to Wi-Fi, hit YouTube, play a video, and the video sound clear. It looked clear, no pixels on the phone, and like no damaged pixels, whatever. And the speakers worked fine. I was like, holy crap. And then I looked at the cameras, no cracks. The camera looked flawless. Like right now, you're seeing this. And I'm like, man, okay. So I was like, we got a deal, man. This phone is in great shape, just like you said. Here's your cash. Paid him $400 for this phone. Like $400 I gave him. And, you know, I was like, pleasure doing business. Thank you very much. I ended up buying some snacks and some drinks while I was there because I had to drive an hour back home after buying this phone. So I go back to my car after buying the phone and all that, and I'm sitting in the parking lot by the front door, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to park here and eat my snacks. I'm going to move to the side of the store. So I do. I move to the side of the store, under a tree, park, eat my snacks I bought, drink some water. And while I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what? I'm just sitting here. Let me try to do something while I'm doing nothing. So while I'm sitting there, I go on the AT&T.com, unlock whatever, and I type in the IMEI number back into the website like I did before to see if I can unlock this phone. It lets me submit all the info I need to submit. I send the request to AT&T to unlock this S24 Ultra. And not even 2 minutes later, I get the email saying, please confirm your email. That way we can submit your request for approval. You know, like, even though they send you this email, it's still not a guarantee that the phone's going to be unlocked, right? Because what you do is you submit your info, you submit it as a request, and then they want to confirm you're a real person, I guess. So they want you to click confirm after you send the request. So that email comes in, I click confirm, and another 5 minutes pass by, and I get that email says your request has been approved, meaning AT&T approved for this phone to be unlocked. And I was like, wow, did this just really happen? I was like, wow. They sent me the unlock code, everything for Samsung. On iPhone, the process is similar, but instead of putting a code, they just unlock the phone, and it'll tell you in your settings. But after they approved it and everything, I was like, man, that's crazy. I just bought a I just bought a phone for $400 that wasn't unlocked but was in great condition, which if not unlocked and I wanted to sell to a person with AT&T or Cricket, the highest I could probably make is maybe $500 to $600. But now that it's unlocked, the highest, like the great high end for this phone I could probably sell it for is maybe $800, and low end maybe $600, $650, depending on what kind of clientele I'm dealing with. There's people that are out there that of course going to try to lowball you and whatnot, but that's part of the game, right? But on the best possible situation, I find that right person, and on the high end make that $750. On the low end, maybe that's $650. Either way, I'm making more than my money back if I decided to sell this phone. But while I was driving home after I unlocked it and everything, I sat there and I was like, you know what? I should use this phone as my daily phone. Because I remembered when I had my S25 Ultra, like I really loved that phone. I really liked that phone. It had a lot of capabilities that I can use it for, like the split screen, so I can multitask. It has great cameras. It's a screen that I can, use because it's a bigger phone than what I have right now, which is the iPhone 15, which is another video I'm going to make. But before I was using the 15, I was using the iPhone 14, which is the same size. The 14 was my actual go-to phone, my daily. And I don't know about you, if you're running a small business, a TikTok channel, a YouTube channel, all this stuff, and you're constantly on your phone, you need a phone that can help you multitask. And I'm an iPhone guy, like through and through. Like I will use iPhone for my videos, editing, everything, you name it. Like my go-to phone is an iPhone. But when it comes down, like that's just me being a fanboy of iPhone. Like, growing up, if you had an iPhone, you were the man. But now that like Samsung, like I know what Samsung can do. I know what they're capable of doing. I've tried out a lot of their phones, and it's just like, man, like you can't really go wrong if you decide an iPhone or Samsung. You really can't, because they're both great for, daily use. They're great for business. They're great for whatever you need it for. But with me trying to grow my YouTube accounts, my TikTok accounts, and also like multitasking like crazy because of work and all my other stuff, like I need a phone that I can really use for its full potential. iPhone, I have no problem with it. I use it all the time. Videos come out great. It connects with everything, but it's very limited when it comes to multitasking. If you're not, you don't got like an extra one laying around. Like if you don't have a MacBook and an iPad with you at all times, then Apple really isn't designed for me to multitask with that much. But because of the split screens and all that with Samsung, I can multitask no problem. Then I got the S Pen. If I have a quick note I want to jot down, I do that, because I don't always have a piece of paper and a pen with me in my pocket. And like I said, the screen is bigger on this S24 Ultra than it is on the 14 or 15 that I use. And if you don't have a Pro Max, then you're gonna, struggle a little bit when it comes to seeing stuff on your phone, because I've had the Pro Max for a long time. I had a 14 Pro Max for like 2 years, and right after that I went straight to the 16 Pro Max, and then I got rid of that, went to the iPhone 14, and I went to an S24 FE. And obviously, like I buy and sell phones, so a lot of the phones I'm naming, I buy them, I sell them. But when I bought this phone, I was just like, do I really want to get rid of this phone? Like, this phone is really great. I got it at a cheap price. I got it unlocked. Now, if I decide to switch from Cricket to Metro or something later on in the future, I won't have to go and buy another phone. I got this one because, let's be real, this is S24 Ultra. It's maybe a little over a year and a half, like over a year and a half, right? It's been out. This phone was manufactured actually in August of 2024 and activated September of 2024. So that means this phone is like, technically this actual phone is like 1 year old. It's not even over a year old yet. Like, we're technically at the 1 year mark for this phone, and it has a lot of life left in it. And Samsung, they stay updating their phones for a while, so this phone could actually last me another 3-4 years if I take care of it and keep it in pristine condition in its case and all that. And by then, who knows, maybe I get a hold of a S27 or something by that time. But honestly, this is the phone I'm probably going to use for a while. I probably will get another iPhone, but for my other phone number, which I'm using right now, an iPhone 15, and that one's on lock too. So that story I'll tell you later on, and who knows, I might sell it before I make that video. But yeah. But anyways, that's all I had for this video. It's like, I've been using this phone for about a week already on my main number, and I have had no issues really. Like, I'm actually happy with my decision to use this phone and make it my daily driver. And for the time being, I will still use iPhone. I still will use the Samsung because I'm using both phones at the moment. And I honestly don't see myself getting away from either brand. But it's kind of crazy that the iPhone guy that I try to be, I'm using a Samsung as my daily. But the original plan for me was to try to find a Z Fold 5 or 6 out there for a good price, which I found several that were a little bit more than this one. But I ended up getting this one because, let's be real, it was a good price and it's blown all my expectations out of the water. So yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully y'all got entertained or something by this video, and I do hope to make more. But as always, you guys stay safe, God bless, and peace.